My name is Bushan. I'm the head coach for Glenmark Aquatic Foundation. This is a pharmaceutical company based in Mumbai. I've been currently coaching for the last 30 plus years. I'm one of the coaches for the Indian team, but the official national coach is someone else.
Okay, got it. So,
Yeah,
but you also coach the national team as well.
right.
And you were saying that you have about 45 swimmers swimming on your team. Is that right?
Currently, we have 45 swimmers on the team in
Okay.
Bangalore.
And what kind of facility do you have?
I have a 50-meter 8-lane pool and a small 20 meters 4-lane pool.
Oh, that must be wonderful.
Oh, and it's at my discretion. I can use the pool at any time I want to.
Wow, that's fantastic. I love it. And so what got you started in coaching in the beginning?
Coach, I was just 17 then. I wanted to swim, but one of the days my coach called me and said, can you volunteer for the Learn to Swim program for the kids during summer break? So I started as a part-timer when I was 17, and I became a full-time coach when I was 20. And this way back in 1987.
Wow.
So since then, I wanted to swim, but unfortunately, we didn't have a good coach. So I continued my coaching career since 1990 till date.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you've been in for a little bit. That's great.
Long
So you've got
time.
a lot of experience.
Yeah, right.
What do you
Right.
like most about coaching?
See, I really feel happy when my kids get to swim faster. They improve their time, and that gives me a lot of satisfaction when they go on the podium.
Got it. So you love to
That's
see them up there.
Yeah, it's
Part of
lovely.
you's up there with them, right?
Right, it's lovely.
Got
And
it.
for you to prove yourself a best coach is in that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, and so tell us a little bit about some of the major career achievements that you've had to get to where you are now.
Uh, one of my kids who used to swim with me way back in 2006 till 2012, he went on to become an Olympian from India in 2012 Olympics.
Wow.
That's one of my. I would say I took him there for about almost 80% of that, and after that he went to a different coach. Then he got to represent India in the Olympics 2012.
That's a real honor to have
Yeah,
a
that's
part
a
in
good
that.
thing. And other than that, I actually got to work with the Indian team as a coach for the 2016 World Championship Windsor, Canada,
Mhm.
and the 2019 Guangzhou World Championship, and also for the Asian age group team at the Uzbekistan and Bangalore.
So you've done an amazing. You were telling me a little bit about you've been to the United States and things. You've done a lot of travel. It sounds like.
Oh yeah. For me, I actually, I love to learn. I can't stop learning. I want to learn every day. That's the only way to learn. I keep telling my junior coaches and other friends, you can learn 20% from reading books and by social media and everything else. You can learn another 20% by talking to the coaches. But the best way to learn is travel and learn from your own swimmers.
Mm. You seem just gotten to know you just a little bit over the last few times that we talked, and you just seem like you're a very open-minded individual, and you're, like you said, you're trying to learn all the time. It's neat.
Yeah. And it can be from anything. It can be from a senior guy, it can be from a junior guy. If there's something to learn, I immediately pick it up.
Wow, that's fantastic. So let me ask you, what are you think the key factors to building a successful team are for you?
I would say planning. Planning is the most important. And it depends on, I would say I first look at the facility, then look at the location, the size of the pool, then plan accordingly. And unless you have a good learn to swim program, you can't have a feeder program into the competitive swimming.
Got it. And so, if I'm right, you've got access to a lot of the coaches that you can connect with and things like that in India. And when I was talking to you about it before, it seemed like you have a lot of, kind of like a mark that you want to leave on Indian swimming and kind of make like a mecca of swimming there. And
Yeah.
if that's the case, what would you like them to know about, how to build these teams so they can little by little build those teams for India and see the success that you're hoping and that's in your vision?
Hard work is one of the important things we require. Hard work, and You need to have a good communication skill, dedication for the sport, and never stop learning, be disciplined. And I'm happy to say this. I actually got an opportunity to build a team right from the scratch and went on to be a winning team.
So, what are some of the challenges that you've had to face and been able to overcome in your swimming and coaching career?
Um,
Because I remember when I was a kid and I moved to an area in Maine. I lived in a small fishing village in Maine. We moved down there, and there was a nice pool there. So that wasn't the challenge to get the pool, but the challenge was to get a swim team there because you had to swim with everybody everywhere trying to move around. They didn't like you swimming lap lane or laps, right? So they try to stop you.
I think I was lacking the opportunity. I would say that, see, I'm a guy who doesn't sit with the I did. I definitely want to do something new, better than what I did yesterday. I like new challenges. I want to get better every day.
You like
So
to
I thought I
progress.
was lacking. Yeah, I was lacking the opportunities and the exposure. So I had to move to that club and join a different center where they would support me.
So you were willing to move and change and right to kind of get to where you want to get to.
Right, right.
And that takes, I find that takes a lot of guts, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It can be
Because
scary, but
it was my family's decision, because it was my wife and son. They said, yeah, you can go ahead and do what you wish to. You can go achieve your dream, and we will support you. I had to live out of my hometown for 4 years until my son went to Germany for studies. Then my wife came and joined me later. So that's when I shifted to Mumbai.
such a big commitment, right? And I talked to someone actually yesterday. He was a coach, and he says one of the most important things you got to do as a coach is marry a great wife.
Well said.
He says
Well,
because your life is so crazy otherwise, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Such a big deal to have that
Yeah,
support. So
yeah.
okay, and so what are you trying to develop in your swimmers to get them to? And I think you're looking. You'd said some of your goals were to get more Olympians on the teams, things like this, right?
Yeah. Um, See, I want my swimmers to, I want to develop the desire to train. Generally, they take it very easy. I want them to take the responsibility that, you can't keep always yelling at them, shouting at them. You have the instructions given, you have the workout given. They have to take the responsibility of training the set to 100%. That's what I
So
want them
they've
to
got to
do.
own it.
Pardon?
So they've got to own it
Yeah,
inside
they have,
themselves.
and also develop a winning attitude.
Mhm. Got it. Got it. So what are your long-term goals? You said some is more Olympians on the team. What would you like to see in Indian swimming as growth and development occur before you leave this sport?
Yeah. So this is my second year in Bangalore now. This is my hometown. So second year Bangalore. My long-term goal is I want to have an Asian Games medalist in the next 4 years,
Okay.
and I would definitely like to have. See, for Indians, the ACUT in Olympics is a big thing.
Got it. Got
So
it.
this is where I want to get at least by 2028.
Got it. And these seem like all great, right? Achievable goals too. So these are things that you can get done.
And this is because I have all the support from the Glenmark Aquatic Foundation.
I've heard they are fantastic. Is that right? They've been so
Really good.
supportive.
My boss tell me one thing, Bushan, you do whatever you want, we will support you. We just want Indian swimming to go to the next level.
Wow. You couldn't possibly get something better than right the gift of being able to do, what your skills and availability, right? Whatever you can do with them. That's fantastic.
And my boss is a great leader.
Oh, that's great. So he deserves a hug, it sounds like.
Okay.
So looking back on your coaching career so far, what advice would you give someone who wants to follow in your footsteps?
Um, the only thing I tell them is keep learning, don't stop learning. Put in your hard work. When you go on the deck, don't, just forget everything else. Give your 100% to the swimmers, and believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, and that'll take you. Yeah, sometimes we always fail, and that's a part of learning. And you have to keep on trying. One day you will succeed. And You have to build your tools, improve your knowledge base, talk to people. Don't be hesitant or shy to talk to people. Just absolutely way to learn.
It's amazing how many people that you might be shy to talk to that you go up and they're more than glad. I remember years ago I was talking to a guy named Terry Stoddard, and he's a wonderful coach out in California. And I went over to him and I said, your distance swimmers are doing better than mine. And I said, what are you doing? And he says, you know what? I always thought I was doing a great job. And he says, nobody's ever asked that. He says, I'm taking you out to lunch. I'm paying. He spent 4 hours telling me how to train my distance swimmers.
Wow.
It's incredible. Yeah.
I think this is what I like about the US coaches. Huh? You guys are very warm.
Mm,
You're open for sharing.
right. Yeah. Well, and we certainly hope so. I think if it makes sense, there's lots of information to share there's plenty for everybody, I think. Right. And you don't want to, Doc Houndsman, my coach back in Indiana, was so willing to share. In fact, a lot of the kids that were racing against our team would come up and get an analysis from him with their coach. And
Wow.
he just taught us, like, you've got to help as much as you can. He says that you don't want to like hide your information. You want to share it, because when you share it, it comes back to you with more information.
More information.
You always hope your competition does great, because that
Yeah,
just drives you to do even better.
true.
If you're a real competitor, right? The ones that aren't so competitive, they don't want to tell anybody anything. So what have been your sources of inspiration throughout your swimming career?
Um, I've come across plenty of coaches across the world, but I still would say that my boss, he is, I don't know, he inspires me. I just talk to him for a few minutes, which takes me 6 months forward. And he's a great guy. He's got that leadership skills is what I want to learn from him, and his decision making is amazing.
That's fantastic. How do you go about helping a swimmer when you find them on a plateau?
Oh, I think this is a very common phenomenon you come across all the kids. You know, parents are very happy. They start learning to swim. They keep on improving. You throw anything at them, and when they're 10, 11, 12, they just keep improving.
Right.
When it's 14, 15, everybody comes to a stagnation, a plateau. This is where a coach's role is so important. You can't give up on that particular swimmer. Call them, talk to them, motivate them, have a different training approach, go easy, probably give them a small break, and tell them work on stroke count or do some slow swimming, pick it up, and keep talking to them. Have different goals and probably change some events and try and do something. But I'm sure definitely everybody goes through this. Sometimes it can be 6 months, sometimes it can be 2 years, but everybody can come out of it.
Right. And we actually have developed a program called MindWorks, and it actually has an entire portion of the program that's dedicated to progress, making progress. So if somebody's on a plateau, it has three different aspects it hits. One is focus, how to focus better, and sometimes that's if they're a little bit off focus. Number two in there is how to channel your emotion and harness it to help you instead of hurt you. Because once you get on that plateau, right, sometimes it's hard to get off it. So, and then the third thing is the progress on how to actually make progress. And it shows you the 4 steps of the developmental pipeline: learn it, fix it, cement it, and then use it. What would you say one of the most important roles a swim coach plays on the team?
Um, I would say he should be like a leader.
Mhm.
He has to have the leadership qualities because coach's job is not just coaching on the deck. He needs to make sure that he takes care of the parents and also talking to team members, talking to the colleagues, junior coaches, setting up everything, and have long-term and short-term goals.
Right. So it's not just about working on technique or working on energy systems or something like this, training them. It's a lot more involved, right?
Yeah,
Because you have to lead.
yeah. Coaching is just one factor. There are a lot of other factors which he has to take care of.
It's interesting. Got it. So what do you think is more important in your mind in a swimmer or in a coach? Passion? I'd say more in a swimmer in this case. Passion or performance?
Um, I would say passion is more important. What happens is the performance is on and off. Sometimes you do well, sometimes you don't do well. But if you have a passion, which leads to performance, this is the most important thing which I feel. A lot of people come with credentials. They said, "Sir, I have this certification." But the most important is the passion to walk on the deck, being with the swimmers, get them motivated, talk to them in a good way, and keep them always energetic.
Got it. And in your country, what do you see as maybe hurdles or challenges that you have to get from where you are to where you want to be?
Yeah, I think this is a big question.
That is a
I
big
think
question, isn't it?
I think the entire country should answer this question. Here, I think we lack the opportunities, lack motivation, and not too much of encouragement, I would say, in terms of something to look forward to. Most of the kids here, I have to tell you this, most of the kids, they come to me when they're like 14, 15, 16, 17. They just want to achieve a time to get an admission in the US,
Okay. And
right?
so they want to get into a US school, is that what it is?
Yeah, yes. And the other thing is, and most of the other swimmers come here to train and get a national medal so that they can get an admission in the engineering or medical college. It's like a ladder for them to join a professional course. So
Mm,
here, um, I've seen people swimming at the age of 24, 25, 26 in the US and Australia.
mm,
But here, if you are still swimming at 24, 25, people will say, "What are you doing, man? When are you going to start working? When are you going to get married?" And
right.
here, at 24, 25, you had no opportunities unless you are employed from a swimming sector. I would say here there are people swimming at the age of 23, 24, 25 because they're paid to swim. They join police, they join railways, they join army, only these, or else they have no funds. They have to fund themselves. Recently, government has started something called as Kelo India. Kelo is a Hindi word which means Play India.
Mm,
That's a real good initiative by the government, which actually takes care of the kids for the next 5 years. They called as Top Scheme, um, which will actually help you to compete, train outside the country wherever you wish to.
So it sounds like we need to build some heroes over there.
But exactly, we need some role models.
Got it. And once we get the heroes,
Yeah.
that's going to change everything, right? Because
Yeah.
now you've got all these, right? And so that's what you're saying. We've got to get some Olympians. We got to get some people out there that are, and that type of thing. And we need to get some attraction in there and excitement for it,
Yeah.
right? So that parents get behind it. They're excited. And then one of the steps is
Yeah.
to go to college,
Correct.
possibly, right? But
Yeah.
that's just one of the possibilities that this can help them with. And it
Right.
sounds like we got to get some development that occurs earlier so they start to feel success, the parents get connected and excited about what they're doing.
Right. Right.
Because once you get them to get those times, right? And if they got those time around 14, 15 years old,
Yeah.
that would be a big deal because now they can't go to college yet. So they got to
Yeah.
keep swimming.
Yeah. We have a huge dropouts in the age of 15, 16, 17, 18.
Mhm.
I would say that's where you actually start swimming.
Yeah, that's where you really start to get some acceleration.
Right. And here, that's because they say, I already have a national medal, I already have a national gold, a national record. But what does motivate for me to swim? I would pursue my career into engineering or medical, where it leads me for a future. But
Mm.
they say there's no future in swimming.
Mm. Got it. I'm gonna work on that one with you if I can. We'll see if
Yeah,
we
yeah.
get that done. We got to get that done. How about what do you guys look at when you look at American swimming? Why do you think
Uh,
it's been successful?
yeah, if you ask me this, I would say that, see, I have visited a couple of clubs, colleges, and universities in the US, and I've seen the system which works. I would say that's high school swimming, college swimming, which is driving the US swimming. And this is what exactly is missing over here. We do have school swimming in college, but it's not taken seriously. It's not at
Got
all taken seriously.
And for us, it's a real driver through our business because we have
Yeah.
over the last 32 years, I think it's something like 89% of our swimmers have gone on to swim in college. So,
Wow.
and the average in the country for sports moving on is only 2%, and the average or the top swim teams are somewhere around 15% or so. Maybe a little bit more. The people, and there's a couple of reasons. Number one is the people that come to us really want to swim in college and go somewhere. And number two is we've got a great program to get them there. And what we noticed for us, it's a real draw because there's not a lot of places you can go if you want to get into college and swim, right? And so all of our, we have the college pipeline, things like that, and the fast track tools, all these things driving towards helping kids get on to college and swim there. And
Right.
if they can get into the colleges they want.
Right. And also, I think the other factor is the ratio. For example, if we have 100 swimmers swimming, learning to swim in India, I think probably you'll have 10,000 swimmers in the US.
So there's a lot more.
Our swimmers don't even meet your number of coaches, probably, I think. I read somewhere that you have 25,000 coaches across the US.
Okay. And how many swimmers do you have in your country?
In a country, probably I would say anywhere close to about 20, 25,000. This is put right from your intermediate to elite training.
Got it.
That's
Got it.
less. That's too less. And out of that, only four states have a huge numbers. Let's Karnataka, my state, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, Gujarat, and Tamil Nadu.
Got it. So, okay. And then, so you've had a chance, you and I have gone over some of our fast track tools recently. So you got a chance to see them. Which of the fast track tools, I know one of them in particular you really liked for yourself, but which ones of the tools did you feel would help coaches the most from India?
I think um, I don't remember the name exactly.
I know one of them you love was the seasonal planner. Is that?
Yes. See, generally, I would say most of them actually don't have a long-term plan. They just go on the deck, do the workouts on the fly, keeping the season in the mind. But I would say planning is planning is most important for being successful.
Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking that, and I'm thinking, what else might be interesting is if you want to engage the parents, right? And that's a big deal because then you get parental support.
Yeah,
right? And so when we do ours, a lot of times we have those avatars.
Okay.
And they with the FM Fast Track tools, they get the actual access to these avatars that we built. And I think we've put in about 12 years building these avatars, and they're fantastic. And you can take a picture on your iPhone or your iPad, and you can show it to them right there on deck. And then you can snapshot it, send it to dad. Dads always love it. Dads are like, wow, that's great. And say, this is what we're working on, with Dave or and this is what we're working on with him today. And he seems to be getting it, but don't forget to remind him, or show him the picture.
Yeah, right. You said the kids love a lot. Anything they see animated, they try to replicate.
Right. And so it makes a huge difference to be able to do that. And then, so regarding the swimmers, what tools did you think would help your swimmers the most from that?
The animated stuff, like for example, if somebody doesn't know how to swim a backstroke, you instead of going and seeing somebody else doing a backstroke, you can see a perfect animated on the fluid mechanics. Learn from it.
Right. I have to tell you, one time we had a fellow come over from India, and he had a couple girls that he brought over, and it was very interesting. He says, John, he says, I'm bringing my girls over, and they were young, and he says they're coming over. They came over last year and they did really well. They're coming back this year, and he says, you know what we want to do with them? He says, I know my daughter in the 50 free can drop at least 4 seconds. So, okay. So, and he says, we're going to be there for like 3 weeks. And he says, we want to drop at least 4 seconds. And I know where you can get it. And I said, where's that? He says, out of the start. Her start is terrible. And oh my gosh, there's only like, 0.85 in the start to start in the beginning. I said, how are we going to get 4 seconds out of this? We actually dropped her about 6 seconds, believe it or not, but it wasn't out of the start. We got a little bit at the start, but there was a lot more opportunity in the strokes, and it was fun. So a lot of times I think the parents have, maybe perceptions that they can get. And we had one fellow tell us, we want to get at least 30% better in the next 6 months. Wow. So 2.5% to 5% per year is normally recommended. So getting them behind like what those goals are can sometimes help a lot too. So the parents understand, expectations that, and then they, we're achieving, versus sometimes sending the wrong message to the swimmer that they're actually not working as hard as they are, because they're making, 5% success is great.
We have some, you call them helicopter parents, right?
Yes.
So we have some, probably you won't believe, they'll have more data than I have.
Mm-hmm.
And they know everything. They know everything other their own swimmer.
Right, and it's all right on the phone, right, or on the
the comparison. The comparison. They said, "Oh, that swimmer is like that. That swimmer start is good. That swimmer turns are good. That swimmer back end is good." Mm-hmm. But come on, what are you going to work with your own son or daughter? Yeah. Do that first.
Right, and I think the best tool that we have for that is the race map. Because as soon as they find out, right, you get it'll break down how long to take the start, how long to do for the push off, how long to do for the turn, how many cycles, and how fast to take those cycles. Once you get that, you get such a breakdown that you know exactly what to work on. And if we cut down on a cycle versus on a start or something like that, what the benefits are going to be when you do that. It'll also tell you the speed that they should do their push-ups and their sit-ups, because they want to train. Let's say they have to cycle at like 1.23. It'll tell them that's exactly how fast, because they want to train their body to contract at that rate. So really interesting stuff. Wow. And so this has been such a wonderful time. I really appreciate you joining us. And I'm hoping as we start to get more coaches together, we'd love to have you back on the show again, if you wouldn't mind, sometime. And we're even going to be trying to put together some of the international coaches to have a discussion of how their countries, deal with swimming in different ways. Maybe we can all learn more together.
That was great talking to you.
The same here, Bushan. I really appreciate it. And we'll look forward to seeing you again, hopefully soon.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.